What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and I'm here today, you guys, with a late review for The Real Housewives of Miami. You guys, this is season 7, and this episode is number 14. So we got, I think, 2 more episodes left because the finale is on September 25th. So I think we got 2. After this week, we have 2 more episodes left. But before we go ahead and get into it, if you guys are watching this video, or any other video on the channel, if you guys aren't subscribed yet, I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, you guys, turning on your post notifications, and also by sharing the video. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let us go ahead and discuss The Real Housewives of Miami, shall we? All right, guys. So, let me know what you guys thought about this episode, and also with the panel, we are talking about what day works for us, and since we're so far behind, I mean, we'll figure it out. But we may keep the Thursday, and we may just be like an episode behind with them. But we'll talk about it. But yeah, you guys, let me know what you guys thought about this episode. It was an okay episode. Now, the episode opens. What I will say is 2 things. I am sick of hearing about Stephanie and the girls. I'm sick of hearing about Larsa and Lisa. Like that stuff at this point, we're over it. But we see as Alexia and Larsa were talking, and their conversation was about Lisa. Then we see as Stephanie is having a conversation with Gertie about Marisol and Alexia, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Are we going to have any resolve with this? And it doesn't, right now, I don't know if we're going to have any resolve, but the girls are getting ready to go on a cruise. You guys remember that cruise was discussed in the last episode with Alexia and Marisol. So that's what this episode mostly consists of, is the cruise. Now, the first individual scene that we had in this episode was Julia. So we see Julia. So Julia met up with Marisol, and Marisol asked her how the boys are, and Julia told Marisol about some kind of a cake, I guess, that but Martina's mom made, that Martina made. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So Julia also was talking about her girls, and remember, her girls, they haven't really been talking to her because of this whole situation with her and Martina adopting these 2 young boys. So they haven't really had a conversation with them. But I think her oldest daughter, Victoria, has kind of come around. And so Julia is hoping that with the oldest daughter coming around, that she can talk to her sister and maybe she can come around as well. And like I said last week, I still stand on it when it comes to Julia. Did you even have a conversation with your daughters? Because this is, very big, and this could be life-changing for them. Well, not could be. This is life-changing for them. Because like I've said plenty of times before, both Julia and Martina are women of a certain age, and you put your kids in a precarious situation if God forbid something happens to you guys, now, like, you guys would put those girls in a very uncomfortable situation where now they have to become primary caretakers for those boys, or those boys go back to the system or wherever they came from. So, yeah. So they also talked about Stephanie once again, and I'm just like, oh God. Even though Stephanie isn't my favorite person, I was sick of hearing them talk. Excuse me, y'all. Sick of hearing them talk about her, right? So they talked about this trip, and they're talking about how loud and bossy Stephanie is, right? And I mean, I think we can see that like I said last week, and I still stand on what I said last week about Stephanie. When it comes to Stephanie, I, really do believe that Stephanie used that plane as like a bargaining chip to get in good with the girls, and the power kind of went to her head. But you guys can tell me what you think and what you feel, and we'll go ahead and move on. Nikachu, you say a bit behind on the stream replay, but I agree. This episode was just okay. Felt like our first true filler episode of the season. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Because nothing really happened in this episode for me personally. But other than that, I mean, it was okay. It wasn't the worst episode that we've had this season. And the crazy thing is, they haven't had a bad episode this season. But this episode, it was, I'll agree, filler. So the next thing that we have is Kiki. So Kiki is meeting up with her dad, and she was trying to get her dad to try something new. I know it was salmon something, but I can't remember what it was. He told her no, right? So she did thank him for talking to her family. And you guys remember, I think it was while they were in Sevilla, when she was letting us know that her family was kind of, threatening her because that she wouldn't bring them to the US. Just because Kiki is on the Real Housewives of Miami does not mean that Kiki is a multimillionaire. I want her family to know that. But hey, whatever. What up, D? You say nothing gives me greater joy than fast forwarding past Julia's scenes with her constantly forcing tears for sympathy. Her hair also looked a whole wizard of Alice from the Brady Bunch fool. I wasn't even looking at her hair. To be quite honest with you, when Julia's scene came on, I was half asleep because I actually just watched the episode. Maybe I finished the episode maybe like 30 minutes before I came on this live. And Julia's scene, I fell asleep. I was asleep. Thank God one of my friends was texting me, and that woke me up. And I was like, oh shit, you're watching the Real Housewives of Miami, JB. But yeah, Julia's scenes, and the crazy thing is, when it comes to Julia, I at one point liked Julia. But after this season, I'm going to say I'm with the fans who say that Julia can go. So, with Kiki, now she talked to her dad about when she got kicked out of the house, right? And he kept saying that that wasn't his fault. That wasn't his fault. I was like, so are you that henpecked that you let a woman tell you what to do with your child? Unless the home that you lived in is her house, I can understand it. But other than that, I don't understand it. But then he goes on to say to Kiki, all these cameras that you got, around you. I was like, sir. So are you trying to say that if it wasn't for you kicking her out of the house, she wouldn't have these cameras in her face? Like, okay, if that's how you want to justify it, sir, it's weird to me, but that seemed like the way that man wanted to justify it. And I was just like, that is just the weirdest shit I've ever heard in my life. I wish a parent of mine would say, well, I mean, yeah, I kicked you out the house, but I mean, look at you now. You have this, you have that. Bitch, you kicked me out. I had to fend for myself at a young age. Well, Kiki was like, what, 14, 15 years old? Okay. Again, this is why I said what I said earlier in the season about Kiki apologizing to her father, or what her mama wanted her to do with her father. No. If I feel a way about you, I feel a way about you, and I'm going to tell you how I feel about you. But again, I know that's part of their culture. I know that's part of their culture, so I'm not going to attack their culture. But for me, you're going to hear my mouth. And that's it on that. But let me know what you guys thought about Kiki's scene, and we can move on to Lisa. Oh, Lisa. Lisa. I really do like Lisa. Sometimes, now I will say there are times that Lisa do get on my damn nerves. But so far this season, Lisa hasn't really like 100% racked my nerves like her former friend Larsa has. But Lisa, The problem that I have when it comes to you is that I don't think you've learned your lesson when it comes to the whole. No, you haven't learned your lesson because you still depend on men. Like you still depend on, like you depend on Jody and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, But Lisa's talking about how she's happy to be divorced in a sense, but she also misses being a Mrs. And I'm like, okay. I mean, what's the big deal? I mean, what's the difference? But like I said, with Lisa. When it comes to you, like I said, you just depend, like you depend on men to do everything for you. And I don't want that for you, Lisa. Like I really truly don't. I want you to be independent of yourself. And that includes like getting Jody out of all your business affairs. So she's talking to Jody, and she's telling Jody how she wants to be married again, but right now she doesn't want to get married. And I'm like, that's good, Lisa, because you like you need to be with yourself and with your kids. That is the best thing for you as of right now. Hey, sweet pea, how are you doing this afternoon? Yes, afternoon. You say Lisa needed to be in therapy before dating anyone. She does, because I just don't understand Lisa. Like that whole scene confused me. Like everything about that scene confused the shit out of me. And I was just like, okay, Lisa, what are we doing? What are we doing, and why are we doing it at this particular point? And do I think Jody is a bad person? No. I will say I did get frustrated with Jody in this particular scene because he said he texts Larsa again. I said, oh my God. So does that mean that Larsa's gonna? And here's the thing: the first text that they talked about with Jody and Larsa, it wasn't a bad text, but it's Larsa that we're talking about. So I'm not shocked that she blew it out of proportion. But when he said he texted her again, I was like, okay, Jody, please stop. But I will say I did agree with Jody when he said that the drama needs to, kind of dial down. But I'm like, it. I get the drama with Lenny needs to, wants to dial down. That I get. Now the divorce, that I get. But the drama with Larsa or any of the other girls, this is her job. She's a housewife, so she's gonna have drama. Now, does Lisa have to bring it to you? No, and I wish she would stop. Dee says used to like her too. So watching her act an entire donkey this season has been tragic. But it's a wrap on that now. Trashing real friends for women who wouldn't spit on her if she was on fire. I agree. I agree. Because I just don't understand. I'm still stuck on Julia being up Marisol and Alexia's ass. And those girls had never saw it for you before. But okay, Julia. You say between Julia's online dragging and Martina's comments on surrogate and trans folks, I'm pretty sure it's a wrap on both of those old hens. Sayonara. Yeah, I feel like, especially, yeah, I have to agree. Because, I mean, look at Kelly Dodd from Real Housewives of Orange County. So I feel like they're going to get the Kelly Dodd. Hopefully she doesn't turn into Kelly Dodd once she leaves the show. My God, please don't turn into Kelly Dodd once she leaves. But that's really it with Lisa. So who's the next person that we got to talk about? Stephanie. All right, you guys. So with Stephanie, did this? I'm asking myself a question, and I'm going to ask you guys a question. So this thing with Stephanie, did it change your opinion of Stephanie at all? like if you guys have not been seeing it for Stephanie this whole entire season, did this scene change your point of view when it comes to Stephanie? Sweet Pea says Julia and Martina can go ASAP. I agree. So for me, did this scene change my point of view on Stephanie? Not really. because I still think Stephanie is a try hard. If we're being honest with each other, I still think she's a try hard. So she's meeting up with her friend Anastasia. I don't know who that is, but she's a makeup. She's she's big in the beauty industry. Again, don't know who she is because I'm not a beauty person, so I don't know the woman. So we find out that she is hosting a Christmas party, and it's going to be something that she's hosting with Kiki. And if I'm not mistaken, she said something. I think they're making a signature drink, and the proceeds of that drink will go towards Haiti, which is a good thing. Let's see what D says. D says Jody's face is so off-putting. He looks like he looks like a wax sculpture, and oh my god, he looks like a wax sculpture and all his things. Yeah, I be looking at Jody's facial expressions, and sometimes I'm like, he gives wax Ken doll. So I thought this. Now I will say, this conversation with Stephanie and her friend, it was very interesting how they switched from talking about Haiti to talking about Stephanie having a child. I was like, okay, that's a weird transition, but it is what it is. Y'all found a way to segue, but I still don't know how y'all segued from relief to Haiti to her having a kid with Masood. And Masood, by the time the kid is 10 years old, Masood will be a senior citizen. And will he want to do that? And she feels like Stephanie should have been had kids. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Don't care. So then Stephanie, now this is where I kind of got lost with Stephanie. Because Stephanie is telling her how the girls feel that she is bossy, right? And the friend understands that because of Stephanie being a boss and being, I guess, in a male dominated field and not showing emotions and stuff of that nature. I was like, okay, I get where you're going with that, but that still doesn't add up to me. Because if you're going into a new group of people that you want to get to know and build relationships with and build friendships with, why would you go into that group and it's all women? Why would you go into that group with the whole mindset of, oh, well, I deal with men all day, every day. So, I don't show emotions. I don't show this. I don't show that. This is supposed to be a friend. This is a friend group that again, this is a friend group that you are entering in. So why would you go into it with that mindset? Just a little weird to me. Maybe I'm the one that's crazy. Ain't Masood already a senior citizen? I said senior citizen because I forgot how old Masood is. That's why I said senior citizen, because I literally forgot how old Masood is. What is Masood 60? How old is Masood? Because I forgot how old Masood is. If y'all know how old Masood is, please leave it in the comments or in the live. Well, in the live. Okay, 60 plus. Yeah. Is that senior citizen? 64. I guess that is senior citizen. Yeah. He gonna be even more senior citizen. Oh God. He gonna be grandpa. He would, oh God. I couldn't I can't imagine myself in my 60s wanting to have a child. I'm sorry, I don't see it. Let me not say I don't see it. It ain't happening. It ain't happening, Captain. Because if I'm in my 60s, there is no way in hell you finna get me saying, "Oh, let's have a baby." Fuck no. Hell no. I'm not chasing no child. I'm not chasing a child around in my 60s, 70s, 80s, in my 80s. Well, because you go from, I'm not going from, hell no. Cause if you in your 60s, by the time the child is 18, you really gonna have one foot in the grave and another one on a banana peel. But hey, whatever. If Stephanie and Masood like it, I love it. Steph says she's 24 years. I think you mean younger than Masood. Yeah. Mm-mm. She is 40. So yeah, he is 64. 60s, you supposed to be a grandparent. You sure the fuck are. And not somebody's daddy or mom, unless you adopt. Unless you adopt somebody in your 60s, and then, in your 60s, and that child is a teenager, that's understandable. But to have a baby in your 60s, absolutely not. But I can only speak for me. I can only speak for myself. So that's it with Stephanie. So let's move on to this cruise. Looks nice. Now, what I will say is, I felt bad for Adriana. Now, I know some of y'all don't like Adriana, and that's fine, but y'all know Adriana is my girl. So we see Adriana as she's having a conversation with Gertie, right? So Adriana's birthday is coming up. And what I will say though, I know Adriana is what, 60? I think she's 60. And Adriana looks really good for 60. But I can't tell someone how to feel because I mean, we're all gonna get older, right? And I know at one point in back in like the 90s and stuff, yeah, older people felt thrown away, because I mean, so I get where Adriana's, I get where Adriana's coming from, how she doesn't really, after she turned 40, she didn't want to celebrate her birthday anymore. And I was like, after 40, oh my God. I couldn't imagine. I celebrate my birthday every fucking year. Every year. Child, when I get to 40, I'm still gonna celebrate it. Even when I get to 50. God willing, I get to 50. I'm still gonna celebrate it. Like it, another year that you're here is a blessing. And I kind of wish Adriana would look at it that way, but Adriana, she doesn't want to feel like an outcast, right? Because she said that she's been replaced by younger model, but see, that just goes to speak to the men that you were with, and the problem is they old asses don't want to accept the fact that they're getting older. So instead of them getting aging gracefully, they have a fucking midlife crisis and they want to go find a younger model to make themselves feel young again, when in actuality, you're old. And she's going to get old too. But when she gets older, you're going to get even older, sir. So I felt bad for Adriana, but I love the fact that Gertie was having that conversation with her, right? So then we see as the girls went to not Adriana, but Marisol's suite. That was a badass suite. I was like, oh my God. Had the food spread, had a spread of food. I was like, oh, this would be right up my alley. So we find out that the girls are going to be splitting up for dinner. So one group is going to be Julia, Lisa, Adriana, Marisol, and Alexia. And then the other group is Kiki, Larsa, Gertie, and Stephanie. Interesting. And I wonder, how did they come up with that? Like that is a motley group to put together. I mean, I guess I get it. You don't want Larsa and Lisa together, and you don't want Alexia, Marisol, and Stephanie together. But a very interesting group nonetheless, right? Lisa made it to dinner on time, and she was just so giddy and happy about that. I'm like, Lisa, it's one time, beloved. It's one time. Out of how many times have you been late? But let Lisa have it, right? Now, what I also will say is, I am so overhearing about Larsa and Lisa. Oh God. Larsa got what she wanted in the fact that Lisa unfollowed Marcus. She wasn't happy, which I knew she wouldn't be happy. But I don't get why Larsa is so miserable. But she must be a miserable person. But that, like I said, so y'all know, like I said, we got after this week's episode, we have 2 more episodes because the finale is the 25th. and then the reunion. The only thing about the reunion is I don't want to spend so much of the reunion talking about Larsa and Lisa's relationship, but I know we're going to talk about it. But I'm hoping it's not like a big, well, it was a big storyline, but I don't want to talk about it that much with the reunion, but we shall see. But yeah, so then to end the episode, we see as Stephanie went to Marisol's room, right? And they talked about what happened at that dinner back in Sevilla and how, Stephanie couldn't handle it. And I was like, you couldn't handle it, but your reaction was to like, it really felt like you took on Larsa's beef with Lisa, because for you to sit there and ask Larsa if she wanted to be on the plane with Lisa, that was so weird to me. And then for you to get back, excuse me, then for you to get back to the plane and map out the seating, and it's like you were kind of talking about Lisa and everybody. Like, it's so weird when the people who were arguing at that dinner table were Adriana and Kiki. Like, you didn't have anything for those two. It was more so directed towards Lisa, which was, again, it's still weird to me, but hey, whatever. So then she told Marisol that she thought that they were her safe space. And I was like, why would you think that? You ain't even been cool with Alexia this whole season. So why would you think that they were your safe space? Like, that's so weird to me. You're weird, Stephanie. But hey, whatever. So after that, Marisol is telling her the reason why she didn't get on the plane with her is because, she didn't want to go, and she said she didn't want to go. She told Alexia that if you do want to go, then go. But then she also remembered that Alexia didn't have a good day, so she told Alexia, since you didn't have a good day, just stay behind with me, right? And so she said, well, Julia didn't say it that way, because she said Julia said that it was because I was bossy. And she said, well, yeah, it was that too, because, you and Alexia weren't seeing eye to eye. So we did kind of wonder, like, if you will leave us behind. And so that was it with them. But then we see, going into next week's episode, it shows 8 hours later, I believe, and then it shows the next day, because we see her having a conversation with Alexia. Then we see her having a conversation with Adriana, and at this point, she's pissed off with Marisol. And I was like, okay. Again, try hard when it comes to Stephanie. Do I dislike Stephanie? No. I think Stephanie came on wanting to be more than what she is. But it is what it is. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode in the comment section below. And I will catch you guys in the next video, you guys. So next up, I have to do Hard and Hustle Houston. I have not watched that yet, so I gotta sit down and watch it. And it'll probably be up, if not later tonight, it'll be up first thing tomorrow morning. But I'll see you guys then. As always, you guys stay safe. Take care of yourselves, you guys. Wash your hands. Be blessed. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.